Let me try and get this video down because sun is setting and soon it's going to be pretty dark in here, but I like the orange haze. So, yeah, today I'm going to be talking about respect. Respect in the sense of the lessons I had learned in England. I had spent 10 days in England. That includes the New Year's and Christmas time. And I learned many lessons, but this nonetheless was one of the largest and most valuable ones. And when I say respect, it can be boiled down into two terms, into two different, separate, applicable ideas. The first one being self-respect, and the second one being respect for others. Immediately when I landed from the airport in England, I had noticed a large sense of self-respect from the people around me. The people walking on the street had more modesty. They looked down. They had a better gaze, lowered their gaze. They seem more accountable, they seem more responsible, and nonetheless more respectful. However, when you look at a country like America, you see a large sense of openness, a large sense of lack of self-respect where the modesty is gone. People don't look down and show respect for anyone, and it's a very comfortable situation where we're all comfortable with each other and with ourselves. We don't value accountability or taking responsibility for our actions. I guess you could prescribe it down to a kind of life where we are constantly interrogating others and we don't listen to any feedback we get. So it's just a very large echo chamber. Whereas in England, it's a very quiet, more discreet, more accountable life where one word said carries a lot more meaning. And so from that, you can learn that check yourself. Check that when living in America, we're not so easy to look down on others and put ourselves so highly, and show a sense of self-respect as in the sense of when we walk with our head down and modesty and shame. Not one where our head is up and we're looking down on others. And I often find myself doing that to keep myself devoid of certain people, right? So I don't attach with them. But it's important we understand the balance. Like all traits and virtues, if you're familiar with virtue ethics, it requires a balance where you're not looking down on yourself so much, where you don't value yourself, but at the same time, you don't look down to others to the point where you make them feel horrible. And then if we're also looking at the issue of respect for others, we find that, and I found that in England, from a simple check from an uncle, I just immediately had shelled up into a sense of reflection. He had put me in aware of the fact that I was American in the sense of very outwardly kind of rude to other people, and it's a way we don't realize at all. Completely caught me off guard. And so I had spent the next 30-45 minutes thinking about it. I actually had gotten to a point where I was pacing back and forth in this house, this guest house. So I had definitely thought about the issue a lot, and it's quite obvious why. I mean, we get the reputation that Americans are dumb for a reason. It's because we are all very open about what we say and communicate, and when we disregard the empathy and the feelings of others. And that's normalized because now people don't care about what you say here in America. And it's so easy to just take that extra step too far, and we don't realize it. So this is the check for you to take a step back and look at when you talk to someone. Know that there are levels. There are levels of respect. Your parents are very big in this matter. I mean, you've heard it your whole life. Don't say oof to your parents. Respect your parents. But we don't really get that sense of reality. Like, in American standards, yeah, sure, we are doing that. But in realistic standards, because America is not the realistic standard, it's not the gold standard. In realistic standards, we're not doing good. I promise. And I had to really check myself. And you need to too, because you have been speaking horribly to your family and to those around you constantly. And then how can you expect yourself to be respected amongst them and be someone that people like when you constantly invigorate others? You have to be able to communicate your ideas respectfully. And that is something extremely difficult. So don't claim that you know how to do it. You suck at it. I promise you suck at it. And then we often confuse respect with like indecisibility, where we can't show respect to others, or we can't show respect to others. And the only time we do is when we are trying to be nice. And our niceness comes off as fake in a sense. And definitely England has its problems. I mean, I could notice from the people that were a lot more racist and unaccepting of others deep down. They just weren't super vocal about it. The idea here is, it's simple, but it's a reality check for myself and for others. Check yourself. Watch your tongue. And then when going back to self-respect, we find that the things we view, the time we commit to other things is horrible. The language we hear on our devices and from those around us, and we lower our self-respect so much where we just sit and we accept it, and we don't for a second stop and say, hey, you know what, this was too far. Because that's the problem with Americans as well. Since it's so widely popularized to speak ill and nasty, no one calls it out anymore. Call it out. This is your sign to start calling it out, to leave those friends, to tell them to back off, to tell them you're being nasty. You'll find that the people who respect you truly, not in the American sense, are those the friends you want to keep and the family members you want to draw better connections to. Acknowledge this fact, take it in, accept it, and use this as the next step to become great. Hope the video quality looks nice. I hope the sunset looks quite nice on the input. It might be dark, but take care of yourself and be respectful to others. Godspeed. Take care.